Your life is shaped by one thing more than anything else. Not your money, not your background, not your education, your thoughts. Great minds like Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, and Jeff Bezos all started with an idea, a belief about who they were and what they could become. Napoleon Hill once said, "What you think about, you become." But if this is true, then why do so many people struggle in life? Why do so many people never reach their true potential? Today's story will answer that question. This is a story about a beggar, a businessman, and one powerful idea that changed a life forever. Stay with me till the end, because this lesson might change. In a busy railway station, full of noise, rushing footsteps, and loud train announcements, there lived a beggar. Every day, he sat on the platform, stretching out his hand and asking passengers for money as they waited for their trains. This was his life. This was how he survived. One day, as he was begging, he noticed a well-dressed businessman stepping onto the platform. The man wore an expensive suit, walked confidently, and looked successful. The beggar thought to himself, "This man must be rich. If I ask him for money, he will surely give me something generous." With hope in his eyes, the beggar approached the businessman and stretched out his hand. But instead of giving money, the businessman stopped and asked a strange question. "Do you always take from others? Have you ever given anything to anyone?" The beggar was shocked. No one had ever asked him that before. Confused, he replied, "Sir, I am just a beggar. I survive by asking for money. I have nothing to give." The businessman smiled calmly and said, "If you believe you have nothing to give, then you have no right to ask for anything." The beggar stood silently. The businessman continued, "I am a businessman. I believe in exchange. If you give me something, I can give you something in return. But if you offer nothing, I can offer nothing either." With that, the businessman boarded his train and left. The beggar stood there, frozen. Those words kept repeating in his mind. He was not insulted. He was not shouted at, but the truth had hurt deeply. That night, the beggar could not sleep. He kept thinking, "If I cannot offer anything, why should people give me money?" For the first time in his life, he questioned himself. The next day, and the day after that, he did not beg. Instead, he thought, "What can I give? I am poor. I have nothing." But on the third day, while sitting quietly at the station, something caught his eye. Near the railway tracks, wildflowers were blooming. Bright, beautiful, free. Suddenly, an idea struck him. What if I stop only taking? What if I start giving something in return? He gently picked a few flowers and returned to his usual spot. When someone gave him a coin, he smiled and offered a flower in return. Something unexpected happened. People smiled back. Some thanked him. Some looked surprised. Some even gave him more money. Day by day, more people began to give. He noticed something important. When he had flowers, people gave generously. When he ran out of flowers, the money stopped. That's when he understood. People like exchange. One day, as he was giving flowers, he saw a familiar face. It was the businessman, excited. The beggar rushed toward him and said, "Sir, today I have something to give you. If you give me money, I will give you flowers in return." The businessman smiled, gave him money, and accepted the flowers. Then he said, "Today, you are no longer just a beggar. You are a businessman." Those words changed everything. For a long time, the man stood thinking, "Am I really a businessman?" Suddenly, he realized the truth. I am not begging anymore. I am trading. People are not giving me money out of pity. They are paying for what I offer. That day, he made a bold decision. He left the railway station and never returned as a beggar. 6 months later, at the same station, two well-dressed men met. One looked closely and asked, "Do I know you?" The other smiled and said, "Yes, we have met here before." Suddenly, the man's eyes widened. You're the beggar, the one I once refused to help, and later bought flowers from. The former beggar laughed. Yes, that was me. But today, I run a successful flower business. I'm traveling to expand it. The businessman was amazed. What changed? He asked. The flower seller smiled and said, You taught me one truth. We only receive when we give. That day I realized I was never just a beggar. I was a businessman all along. I just didn't think that way. The two men shook hands, not as beggar and businessman, but as equals. If you think you are small, you will remain small. If you believe you have value, the world will see it too. Your thoughts decide your future. Never limit yourself. See yourself as strong. See yourself as capable. See yourself as successful. Because the moment your thoughts change, your life begins to change. If this story inspired you, give it a like, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe for more powerful stories. See you in the next one.